Hey, what's up YouTube? You're watching Ready Set Drone, and today I have another e-bike. I've been loving these e-bikes. This was sent to me by a company called EBOT. It is the EBOT T6F, and it is a very inexpensive e-bike. Let's check it out. So this bike is pretty different than some of the other bikes I've ridden and had in the past. First of all, it's much smaller with 20-inch tires. Most of the bikes I've had, e-bikes anyway, have been 26 or 29-inch tires. So these are smaller tires, but they're still pretty fat, that 3 or 4 inch wide, super knobby kind of tire. So they're substantial. I like the wheels on it. This bike came in a much smaller box than the other bikes I've received because it's foldable. It has a little clamp right here that you can actually pull this up and you can pull this out and then it will fold in half. This little thing right here just keeps the thing from accidentally coming undone, but once you clamp it there, it's very solidly connected. It's made from aluminum, and despite its smaller size, this thing is still pretty heavy. It comes in at 73 pounds or almost 34 kilograms, which for a bike this size is heavy, but that includes the battery, the motors, the heavy duty frame, the big wheels, and everything like that. It has a reported top speed of 15 to 20 miles per hour and then a range of around 45 miles. But that's going to really depend on how heavy you are and whether it's hilly where you're riding it, etc. It does have a 350 watt hub motor in the back, and a lot of the bikes that I have ridden have been 750 watt hub motors, so that is kind of a smaller hub motor, and I will tell you this thing struggles to get me up steep hills. It doesn't really pull up a steep hill like some of the other bikes I've been on. It has a max weight of 265 pounds for the rider. So I fall within that, quite a bit within that, by the way. I'm not pressing up against the top, but I am probably on the heavier end of someone that would ride this bike. And it costs between $500 and $700 depending on if you get it on sale or not. So a few little extras that I like about this bike. First of all, these pedals are pretty cool. They actually fold down into place like that, and then you push it in and you can fold it up. So if you're gonna fold up the bike, folding the pedals is a really nice extra feature that allows you to get it into a smaller, more compact space. So they fold down like that, and they fold out like that. I've never seen pedals that do that before, and I really like that as a way to basically save space. They're plastic, they're probably not the best pedals, but I like the fact that they fold. Also, I like the fact that it comes with a luggage rack. If you're gonna haul groceries or something on it, you've got this on the back, as well as a front and a rear fender. It's got a light on the front. It does not have a light on the back. It did have a reflector on the back, but I took it off because it kept getting in the way when we adjusted the seat. And by the way, the seat is very adjustable. For a taller person, it goes up quite a bit, and for a shorter person, it goes down quite a bit. We have both that have ridden this bike, and it is great for tall or short people. I'm about 6'1", fits me just fine, and someone else has ridden it who's probably about 5'2" or 5'3", and she rode it just fine as well. So it does have a throttle up here if you want to just ride without pedaling, and it has 3 levels of pedal assist as well as 3 levels of throttle. It's got 6 gears in the back and then 1 sprocket up front, so you can change between those gears. As I said, because I'm probably on the heavier end of this bike, riding it, when I was going uphill, I had to put it into a gear that I could pedal, and I had to pedal to really get up that hill. It did help me get up the hill, but it didn't push me up the hill like some other e-bikes. So again, that 350 watt motor is not great if you weigh a lot. It has a light up front. The way you turn that light on and off is by pressing and holding the plus button on the controller. If you hold it for a couple of seconds, the light comes on. If you hold it for a couple of seconds, the light goes off. That also controls what pedal assist mode you're in. So right now I'm in pedal assist 3. So if I pick up the back of the bike and do the throttle, now it does have disc brakes, which is great. Most modern bikes have disc brakes now. There aren't many bikes that have the cantilever brakes anymore. Maybe something you'd get at Walmart or something. This bike, however, does not have hydraulic disc brakes. It has mechanical disc brakes. And the difference really is in how well they stop you, how smoothly they stop you, and how loud they are. These mechanical disc brakes kind of make a hissing noise when you stop. I don't think that means they're not working or there's any problem. It's just part of mechanical disc brakes, and they really don't stop you quite as well as hydraulic disc brakes. But that's one of the things you're giving up with a cheaper price tag, is the difference between these mechanical brakes and a more expensive one with hydraulic brakes. I'm also going to tell you that while it does fold in half, and it does so pretty well and pretty easily, well, easily by design, not easily by a person. You have to have two people really to fold this thing effectively. You can do it with one person, but it's a major pain, and it is still really heavy at about 70-something pounds. To pick it up and put it into the back of your car while it fits is something that you should really have someone else to help with, because it isn't very easy. It's kind of awkward to pick up. I have found that this luggage rack is pretty well attached, so you can pick it up by this luggage rack pretty easily, but when you pick it up and put it in your car, you'll find that it's pretty difficult to get in and out if you're doing it by yourself. So I recommend having a friend help you if you're going to try and fold it and put it in. Also, unfolding it and putting it back into its locked position is a little bit difficult with one person, because it just is heavy and you've got to put a little torque on it and then push down on the clamp. And so again, if you have a friend who can help you unfold it and fold it back up every time, it's going to be a lot easier. The shifters are cheap, and it feels that way. They kind of clunk when you shift, but they do shift just fine. There's a lever up here, and then there's also a button right here. One of them shifts it up and the other one shifts it down a gear each time you do it. I've been just keeping it in the middle. There's six speeds. I've been keeping it on 3 or 4 most of the time. It does have a little horn. That's handy if you're riding somewhere and trying to get around people. It has a bell as well, which is nice. I prefer the bell to the horn, but you have both options. The little LCD screen here is plenty big and plenty bright for a bike of this size. It gives you your battery level, it gives you your current mileage, your current miles per hour or kilometers per hour. It gives you your pedal assist mode that you're in, 1, 2, or 3, and it also tells you if the light is on or off. There's a little icon that comes up when the light is on. So it's handy to have. I like its simplicity, honestly. Some of these have bigger ones that I feel like are more likely to break. I like how simple this one is and how clean and easy it is to read. And again, it's smaller because this bike is cheaper and this costs less to put on the bike than a bigger one. Now I'll give you my list of things I do like about this bike. It is somewhat easier to transport than the bigger bikes that I have. Certainly the ones that weigh over 100 pounds. It's still 70 pounds, but when you fold it up, it is manageable with a friend to get it in the back of a car and unfold it. I like how high and adjustable the seat is. I like how comfortable this seat is. It's actually a pretty wide seat, and so that feels pretty good. And for just tooling around in flat areas, if you don't weigh a lot, if you're a smaller person, it's really great. I like also that the seat can be put down really low and really high. What I don't like about this bike is the fact that it is underpowered for somebody my size. 225 pounds, 6'1". This is definitely not powerful enough. I have to do a lot of the work, which is fine if I'm out to get some exercise, but usually if I'm riding an e-bike, I'm doing it because I want to just cruise and not have to do a whole lot of pedaling. So this thing definitely doesn't have the power that it needs for a big person like me. If you're a smaller person and weigh less than, say, 175 pounds, this will probably do the job for you. But if you're above 175 or 200 pounds, it's going to struggle a little bit to get you up any sort of incline. As I said, the brakes kind of make a little bit of a noise when you use them. They stop you just fine. They just don't have that stopping power that the hydraulic brakes have. But again, that's a price thing. And then finally, this thing rattles a lot. As you're riding along, you just hear this kind of rattling. It just rattles as you ride. Not excessively, but more than any other e-bike I've ever ridden. And so it can be a little bit disconcerting as you're riding to hear that rattling. I also found that if you're riding with your feet back on the pedals, like you should with the ball of your foot on the pedal, you can hit the kickstand over on this side. That's happened a few times, and so you have to kind of keep your feet angled out just slightly so you don't hit this kickstand. So who is this bike for? This bike is really for someone who doesn't want to spend a lot of money and is on a budget. It's not a bad bike. It just has a few shortcomings that you wouldn't find in a more expensive bike. like the rattling, like the mechanical brakes, and like the smaller motor in the back. But if you weigh less than 175 or 150 pounds, this will get you around just fine. If you live in a flat area and you don't have to go up hills, this will get you around just fine. And if you want something that you can actually fold up with a friend and put in the back of your car or SUV and take it with you places, this does great. So if you're looking for your first e-bike that won't break the bank, you weigh less than 200 pounds, and you live in an area that's fairly flat, this bike could very well do the trick for you. Let me know what you think below in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the EBOT T6F, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Ready, Set, Drone.